Hello YouTube, this is Market Driven, and today we will be doing a Manheim Market Report or MMR on a 2022 Mercedes-Benz S-Class. I got this vehicle suggested by one of our viewers and I wanted to make sure I do it. This is an S580 4matic, which is a four-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, what you would call it. Base MMR is 89,400 with an average odometer of 11,989 and the average condition report CR it's 4.5. I just put 12,000 just to make it simple. This one does have a retail value of 101, so that's kind of gives you a good spread of around $12,000 roughly. And so we can scroll down and see these transactions. So if we see recently 2 days ago, one of them sold for 92,750. It did have half the miles of what average, and it did get a 4.5, which is a lot more higher. So I was able to kind of push the CR limit up to three grand roughly. And this one was sold on the West Coast. And if we keep looking, pretty much the majority of them are on the West Coast in this transactions. So you can kind of see they're all kind of spread apart too. Also depends on the CR. For example, this one right here, it shows back in September 5th. So for 70,500 for, and it had 30,000 miles, 2.5. And what I can do this time, actually, I can give you a breakdown of how that would look with a 2.5 and 31,000 miles to compare roughly the MMR to see if it does fall around that what this is kind of suggesting, or does it fall below of what that would be. And I'll be able to kind of do that on that one so you can see. But look at this one. This is really strange. This one's back 10 days ago. So for 106,000 and it has 6,400 miles. It was a 4.9. And this one is in New Jersey. Wow, this one brought a really, really good premium. It could have been one with high options. Could have been one with a specific color. Someone's looking for it. Probably someone had a customer on this one, or even the dealer itself wanted to drive it. Right? It's a lot of factors to it. But see, all this one's a really strange one to be adding on. I mean, look at the spread between all this ones. When you can kind of go back to the Riverside one, like this one, 91,000 miles, 12,000 miles. I mean, 4.8. White lease. It's probably it falls in around that category compared to this one, where this one's really strange. This one was back in August, like the next day. So for 82,000, had a 2,900 miles and a 4.8 CR. Back in Riverside. That's just really, I mean, that's like an $8,000 discount. And that's really strange to see. Based off that, it could have been the same factory. Usually, what this means, it was either a Mercedes lane. Pretty much, it could have been the Mercedes lane that themselves selling the vehicle. It's just like it's a lease. It could have been a prior lease. It's really strange to see that, and that and we can kind of scroll down more. Look at the back a couple of days. See that, wow, this is really high up there. Look at that premium that this one brought. Now the Astra, you kind of have to be wary about this one. Now this one, it could have been something specific on this vehicle, but the problem is that Manheim does not measure this vehicle, does not put it in the sample, so it doesn't help MMR at all, because it probably was far off. It could have been a one-off vehicle. I mean, it's 7,200 miles of 5.0, and it's in Palm Beach. It's Florida, and it could have been a really weird car. I mean, by weird, it could have been rare, interior options on the vehicle. And again, someone probably wanted the vehicle. They're like, no, I need that vehicle. I need to buy it. So it could have been one of those transactions. And now we can see right here historical averages. In the past 30 days, it's only dropped a couple like 1,000. I would say a couple $100. 6 months ago, wow, that's a big change. That's like 10 grand. So in the past 6 months, this vehicle has had many transactions to push it down at least roughly around $10,000. So as you can see, there is like a wind down in the transactions. They are trading a lot less. Now it could be many things. We are going into holiday spending soon, so it could be a lot. But the funny part, or the interesting part, look at a year ago. This vehicle, a year ago, average mileage was 2,500, but a year ago, this vehicle was transacting around $119,000. $119,000. Wow, that is $30,000, right? That's a big swing right there, man. Again, you can tell me all day long, hey, people that buy these vehicles, they're not driving it, they don't care about depreciation, you know. And I am going to tell you a personal story that I actually dealt with before, where I had this customer one time where, as wealthy as they are, you know what I mean, and they wanted to sell Mercedes Benz. It was an S550 at that time. And, I told them, look, these vehicles, they are expensive, this and that. I give them a breakdown, I did my appraisal on it. And I gave them an offer, right? And at the end of the day, they were upset. I gave them a really competitive offer, but they're like, oh no, this car's worth XYZ. This cars are bringing premium. And I think at that time they wanted, I think, retail. They weren't even asking for MMR. They were asking for, like, I think KB high retail. And I was like, well, it's like, we just bought this vehicle. We want trying to get our money back and everything. I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, there's people out there, no matter how rich they are, they're gonna want some, they're gonna care. Yeah, you can tell me that, oh no, they can write the check, oh, 30K depreciation or whatever. Okay, yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah, but I doubt, that everyone, it feels that way, until you find that customer, and you have to deal with them, explain to them, look, your vehicle depreciated and you're trying to get out of it, a year later on a vehicle that depreciates a lot faster than just say like a Honda or a Toyota. It's hard for me to kind of reference that. Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, totally different vehicles, but these vehicles are trading much faster, and they're depreciating much faster compared to a RAV4 or a Corolla. Different ballpark. I get it that, but you just can't. Every customer is gonna react different. You just can't tell them, well, you're rich. You can swing a 30K depreciation. Three in a year. You can deal with that, right? No, they're all gonna feel the hit the same. And yes, they do. It does matter for the even rich people feel it. And I do want to mention that part. Now, what I said in the morning, what I said in the beginning of this. We're going over the transaction. Now, this one, uh, I wanted to kind of give you a breakdown to see how far MMR is on this one. So this one has 31,000 miles, and it scored a 2.5, right? So this one was 31,000 miles, and it scored a 2.5. Wow. So what color was it? It's black. And we can do region. Let's do West Coast. So with all these things on the vehicle, 31,000 miles is going to give that vehicle a 10,400 deduction. That's what you call it, deduction. This car's in the West Coast, which is weird because all the, the West Coast it's hot for these vehicles. This car's going, it gave it a $930 deduction. Scoring 2.5, which is really bad, really, really bad. Mainly it could have been the body, a lot of body damage, probably car so ran and drive, a lot of body damage. It deducted 10,620, and for black, it just gave it a $20 ad, which not a lot. So that puts you at an MMR adjusted for 67,500, and then sold for 70,500. So that's $3,000 right there, right? That's a $3,000 ad from MMR. So this vehicle at that time, it could adjusted MMR posted for the transaction was 67,500, but yet being a 2022, and the spread of it, paying $3,000 over MMR, that's where you're putting it right there. Now it's important to also understand that, having a 2022 Mercedes-Benz S-Class, and getting it for $70,000, which sticker price, it could vary between, it's over 100 in most cases, depending on options. You're getting a 30K discount at the end of the day. If you think of it from a dealership perspective, and they said they have the room where some customers don't care, even about body damages or whatever, or even prior paint, they'll put that $5,000 into the car, and if they can put $5,000 into the car and body work, and guess what? And start asking for 80, 80, 85, 90, it kind of makes sense, because now they're putting the money in, you get me? But then also remember, you know, what's the market like? You know, are these vehicles, are they wholesaling, transacting around 89,400, like we say, yeah, like, you know, we showed you on the transactions, but are they retailing for closer to 100, or are they really retailing for 95,000? You get me? So it's a lot of factors they have to play in, which is kind of interesting, because I see some dealers where they do that. You know, they buy really beat up cars where it comes to body work, but yet they'll put all the money in body work, and then they'll ask the premium. You know, they'll invest at the time. You know, because, you know, next class like this, it'll take a good couple of weeks before you get in near perfect. You know, at the end of the day, you know, you're perfect. Yeah, you're gonna make a lot more. You know, maybe they're interested in taking the time. You know, because also, you know, another thing too, you know, you have a lot less bidders, you know, that are going to bid on the vehicle. Like a franchise store, Mercedes store, they're not going to bid on this Mercedes. Because they don't want to spend all that money, you know, that two to three, $4,000 in recon. You know, I mean, they just want that vehicle to come straight to the lot, do safety, do it needs to be done, you know, boom, right to the front line, and sell it over the weekend. So, you know, it's a lot of factors to be playing in. But yeah, I did want to do a breakdown of this. You know, it's been a year with this vehicle, and there's some transactional history on this one. So, you know, 30K swing, that's a lot. And just wanted to share that with you guys. Thank you.